Hey guys, so we got to talk about this topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a minute now. I want to talk about the whole Keith Lee situation of him getting death threats over food reviews in Atlanta, but I also want to tie it back to something deeper, which is the whole support black businesses thing that's been going around for the last few years. For those of you who don't know, Keith Lee is a famous TikToker slash food critic with over 14 million followers who goes around and does exactly that. He buys food from places, eats in his car, and gives his honest opinion about the food. Now, if you know him, you know he's not the type of person to ask for preferential treat. He wants to be treated just like any other customer. There's been times where he walks into a restaurant and they've tried to skip him over other people who've been waiting for hours, and he says no, and that he will wait in line just like everybody else.
Usually I would just leave, but before we left, we saw 2 cars with 2 people in each car. So they were separate. It was 2 girls in one car over here. It was 2 girls in one car over here. One car had been waiting for an hour and a half. The other car had been waiting for an hour. One car was trying to do takeout. One car was trying to sit down. So again, the people that were waiting inside, that were dressed to the nines, they didn't mind waiting. But the people that were sitting in these cars, I didn't like that. So the owner and the manager walked out and they offered us a table for us to be able to sit down. We told them as a family that we would do takeout, but we wouldn't eat in the restaurant. And the only way we would do takeout is if they gave the table that they was going to get us to the 2 girls that was sitting in this car, which they did. And on top of that, they had to make sure the girls that was sitting in this car got takeout before we did. Which again, they did. The staff and the owner were extremely accommodating. They were nice, they were accommodating, they were professional. And again, that's just my experience. When we got the food, we all enjoyed it. Personally, the food was good to me.
Overall, he's just a very positive family man who enjoys eating and reviewing the food he eats. And his reviews have weight because if Keith Lee says your food is good, people will wait for hours in line to go to your restaurant.
I was gonna be able to open it. And you know, tonight, who walked through my door? Keith Lee.
It is 8:40 at night, and this is the line.
Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything I've been wanting, manifesting.
Who would have thought Keith Lee would bring ATL out, bro? Like, God did this, Bird did this, Keith Lee did this, nigga, we did this!
Popular TikToker Keith Lee is sparking a lot of conversation about Atlanta's food scene.
Packed of Keith Lee. Look at these cars lined up, y'all. This area is always empty, but this is just one side. It is never packed, but this is the dining experience.
Oh, you got these people attention now. Talk that talk, George. You got these people attention now. Now they know it's not a game no more.
Now, recently there's been some controversy because when he went to Atlanta to do food reviews, he gave his honest opinion, and for some reason, a lot of black people took offense. He was even getting death threats over food reviews, bro. Like, how dare he criticize black businesses, especially if he's black? Why is he tearing down other black businesses? Why is he tearing down other black people? Like, that's the mentality that a lot of people have, right? Here's Ocho Cinco talking about the same thing, saying he didn't like what Keith Lee was doing.
Like the fact of what he's doing.
Ocho,
I don't like. I don't like it. I don't like the critiquing of our restaurants and having people and talking bad about our goddamn businesses and like, dude, you know how hard hard it is,
and I get it, Ocho,
for us to even get in the food industry and to have our own restaurant and so. Like, what are we doing?
My whole question is, why are black people not allowed to criticize other black people or businesses for shitty business practices? If you got a business and you have shitty customer service, shitty food, shitty employees, people should be able to criticize you for it. It don't matter if you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, or any other race on the planet. If your service is bad, people should be able to voice that opinion. There's no reason why Keith Lee should be getting death threats over being honest about having to wait for 2 hours to eat in some place that's mid and talk about how weird the rules are in some of these places.
The customer service was interesting. While the people were nice, the rules they had set were very unique to me. We initially tried to do takeout, but when we came in, they said we couldn't sit down, and there was no space at the bar for us to stand. So we had to stand outside to order our food, and then we decided we just gonna dine in. But 2 people in our party stepped out for a second, because again, we fresh off the plane, so everybody was trying to get situated. The waitress, again, she was nice, but she told us she couldn't take any orders, or she couldn't do anything until everybody sat down. No water, no coffee, no drink orders, no nothing. She also said they can only do 1 order, and there's no add-ons. Like, if you want to add on afterwards, it's a wrap. 1 order for the whole table.
The reason Keith Lee has such a large following and people go to places he endorses is because he's authentic. Apparently, also, if you live in Atlanta or have stayed there for an extended amount of time, then you know that this is what the restaurant scene in Atlanta is like. It's not a hidden secret. It's not a surprise to people that live there. The restaurants act like they're doing you a favor and that you need them and not the other way around. Can't start an order until everyone is seated? That's weird, bro. Can only make 1 order and that's it? Weird. Can't make any modifications to your order? Weird. Some of these places won't even accommodate for allergies, and that's supposed to to be good customer service. Even Cardi B, who knows the Atlanta scene well, agrees and says that she feels like restaurant owners in Atlanta don't like to make money because it's always such a hassle to go out and eat because of all these weird rules and wait times.
Well, I've been seeing that people been talking about this guy called Keith that he does restaurant review, and I'm like, who is that? And then I'm starting to see that like he's doing reviews in Atlanta and everything. So I started getting into his reviews and all this bullshit and everything. So while I know that being a restaurant owner is a lot of hard work, and so many people have invested money in their restaurants, and people, you know, like this is their everything. But I always find this. Eating in Atlanta, it is such an event. And I always say this to my man, it's something about the restaurants in Atlanta. I don't know, is it because I'm from New York, right? And I feel like in New York, people just love to make money. I feel like in Atlanta, it's always something. Like, first thing first, right? I feel like Atlanta restaurants, they don't like to make money. I feel like they don't like people. They don't like their customers. They just don't fucking like it. First thing first, right? You could barely order in Atlanta restaurants. Like, you go like, hey, I would like to make an order. Oh yeah, we don't take orders. We don't take orders. It gets to the point that I literally have to I have to tell like people that order food from me, like, can you just name drop my name? Because first and first, they don't do no pickup orders. They don't do deliveries. They just don't do shit.
Ocho Cinco also had this dumbass argument about Keith Lee's qualifications, as if there needs to be qualifications to give your honest opinion on whether you personally like food from a place or not.
Are we turning this up? Resume? What are the qualifications of being a food critic?
That's not how that works, bro. If I go to a place and try it and say the food was good or bad for me and put it online, that makes me a critic. I don't need a special qualifications to give my opinion on something. But Keith honestly cooked them for that in his response.
First, I want to say, God bless you, and I respect your opinion. Your opinion is just as valuable as the next person's opinion. But I do agree with you. It is hard to open a restaurant. It is hard to get the funding. It is hard to have people come in. I agree. And I'm blessed enough to be a marketing platform for those restaurants, completely free. To me, it seems like you have no idea who I am. And again, that's okay with me. The main point was my qualifications. I'll be honest with you, I've been a professional fighter for almost 10 years. I've traveled the world eating food. I've cut weight from anywhere from 170 pounds to 135 pounds. And food is one of the most important things when it comes to cutting weight. So at the end of the day, I'm just a foodie. I agree with you. I've been blessed enough to be in this position. But then in return, I want to ask you, what are your qualifications to have this firm stance on this topic? Because to me, this seems like your first time ever seeing me. And if it's not, again, I have another question. Why is this your first time speaking on me? We've been blessed enough to raise over $40,000 for a restaurant owner who has cancer. We've been blessed enough to be used as a vessel to retire a teacher in less than 24 hours. We've been blessed enough to be a part of keeping multiple restaurants doors open. And all of this within the span of 10 months. I want to be very clear. That question isn't to say you or anybody else should know who I am. I simply ask, if this isn't your first time seeing me, what stopped you from talking about the positive things we've been able to do? Specifically to the community that you are worried about us negatively affecting. And to your point, that's without any formal qualifications. And let's be honest, I think one of the main reasons of why we're here is because I'm relatable. I'm a customer like everybody else. I pay for my food like everybody else. I don't take anything from these restaurants. No matter how much business comes from any post I make, I don't take any money. If I was to go to school and get all of the qualifications and start talking in big words that not a lot of people understand, would they still come out and wait in 4-hour lines? I don't believe so. I'm a normal person just like you. So again, you are completely entitled to your opinion, and so am I. And my opinion is that you should have done a lot more research before you made this firm stance, especially on a platform like yours. I don't go anywhere and just give my unsolicited opinion.
To be fair to Ocho, though, he did apologize to Keith for his initial reaction on the whole situation.
What is your retort to what Keith Lee had to say?
I like his response. His response was really good. And the funny thing about it is the way it was edited. Because one of the things I spoke on him about maybe the negativity of some of the critiques, but after my research and after my daughter getting on me and me doing my homework after the fact, I was like,
yeah, that's what the problem is. You don't wait till you flunk the class and then start doing homework. You do homework so you don't flunk.
Hold on now. Let me finish now. Okay. You know, he doing some goddamn good, phenomenal goddamn work. Some beautiful work. Hey, listen. Matter of fact, listen. You know, I obviously I apologize, but I'm team Keith Lee too now. I'm team. Matter of fact, when he do food reviews, I'm going to.
Now I'm going to show you a clip from a podcast called The Culture Report, in which one of the hosts perfectly says what I think is wrong with a lot of black-owned or black-run businesses.
We don't embrace our own black media.
Exactly.
We always want to run to the outside because of whatever reasons, and we don't empower our own. We wonder why we don't control shit.
Yeah.
Because media influences the entire world.
Exactly.
The entire world. And if we don't have bigger media outlets giving voices to us, then we ain't shit. We are just song and dance motherfuckers, and I don't understand that.
We do that with everything, though. We do that with Black Dollar. Once we get a dollar, we don't go spend it with other black brands. We go and run and jump outside.
I'm not
our
spending
culture.
nothing with a black brand because it's a black brand. I don't like that narrative either. Let's spend with black.
Everybody else does it.
Black people, no the fuck they don't, Tamara. You can stop with the slick marks. It don't work.
Bottom
line is this.
I'm
not gonna say the same thing. No, it's not. The product's not good. I don't want anyone supporting Ray because Ray is black. I want people supporting Ray because Ray is excellent. And the reality is that the black people have the worst customer service in the motherfucking world. And you can say that you don't agree with that because I'm gonna fuck why. If we get our customer service better, we'll make more business. Bottom line. So you can say whatever you want.
When you go to the Chinese restaurant, they nice to you. Hey Ray, how you doing today? No, they just as mean.
Hey, I don't go to the fucking Chinese restaurant.
All right, but you know what I'm saying, Ray. Like,
I don't go.
We could yell and go make your point.
I'm speaking for Ray.
Ray.
I spend $500,000 a year on bullshit, bro. And I love spending money. And the reason why I don't spend with black establishments like that, because they got fucked up attitudes. They don't give you a smile. They don't even say, hello, how you doing, man? I take your order. But I'm supposed to keep spending with them because they look like me? Fuck that.
And it's not always just the customer service. Sometimes it's how black people try to fuck you over when they're running a business too. I've had it happen to me. The two biggest examples I can think of happened to me because it was just so blatant that I couldn't believe. One was when I went to this Jamaican restaurant in my city to go grab some food. I've been there before, but it had been a minute, and so I decided I was gonna get food from there because I had been craving some jerk chicken. Now when I get there, I take a look at the menu on the side, and the prices seem reasonable, like $11.99, $12.99, $13.99. And so I go up to the counter and ask to order. The lady asked me if I wanted the small or large portion, and I said I wanted the large and ordered some Jamaican bottled drink. But anyways, when they came out with my order, they told me the total was $25. In my head, I'm like, what the fuck? Where did you get $25 from? The math ain't mathing based on the prices I just seen on the menu. Even if those were the prices for like the small order, how do you go from $12.99 to $25 with the order and a drink? Now, I'm not the type of person to argue. I paid and left, and that was the last time they got a dime from me. The other time was the lady that used to do my hair. I usually go back and forth between twists and braids, and so that time I was getting 2 straight braids done. I get a hair wash and 2 braids done, and she charges me $45. Cool, $45 is reasonable, so I paid that, no problem. Second time I went to get twists, no wash, that was $90. That seemed like a fair price because I had paid about the same before. I paid her and I left. And just in case you're wondering, yes, I was tipping them. I always tip because I used to work for tips, so I know what that's like. So next time I hit her up, I tell her I just want 2 braids. So same thing, she washes my hair, does the 2 braids, then tell me it's $90. Again, I just paid and left. That was the last time I went to get my hair done by her. You only get to fuck me over one time. Because how did you double the price on 2 braids from $45 to $90? That's unreal, bro. And that's my biggest issue is like, you want us to support your business because it's black owned, but then you pull shit like this. Customer service is horrible, and then you try to fuck me over any chance you get. How do you expect me to keep supporting some shit like that? It's not reasonable at all. I feel like something needs to change, and it ain't gonna change until black people themselves hold each other accountable. A lot of people have this sentiment like Ojo Cinco, where if you black, then you can't or shouldn't criticize other black people or their businesses or actions for some reason because we're black and we're supposed to uplift each other. But that's what's gonna keep the community down. Y'all complain about the black dollar leaving the community, but when you do business, you do nothing but to make that person want to take their dollar elsewhere. But to wrap it up here, it's just crazy that such a wholesome guy like Keith is getting death threats made to him and his family because he dared say something bad about a business because the owner happens to be black. Even after he specifically said not to target these businesses and that it's just his opinion. Y'all need to do better. Peace.